several Sundays ago, a few Sundays ago, we have heard Joshua series, no? 3 weeks ago, yung una, Joshua chapter 1. Then, last Sunday, sino nga ba yung speaker? Ayun, nare-remember niyo ba? Si Don Carlos nag-speak ng Joshua chapter 3. The other Sunday, sino nga ba? Speaker? Yun, si Brother Ed. Joshua ng chapter 2. So ngayon, I think we all remember. So Joshua chapter 4 tayo ngayon. Ito ay nabanggit ni Pastor Ting that we'll be speaking on Joshua series. So I encourage everyone to siguro read it again from chapter 1 until hanggang saan yung matapos yung book. Kasi yung mga darating pa mga Sundays, it's a Joshua series yung mga topics natin. So, short summary ng ating mga messages last few Sundays ago para ma-remember natin. In chapter 1, sinabi doon na Moses is dead. Joshua was chosen as the new leader and was encouraged to be strong and courageous. Doon sa chapter 2, spies were sent to Jericho, and doon nabanggit ng si Brother Ed na Rahab heard the news about the God of Israel and she believed. Siya lang yung nag-respond doon sa news about the God of Israel. And na-mention din doon that we were once like Rahab, living in our own walls, on our own Jericho. And Joshua is like sending missionaries and news all over Canaan about the God of Israel. So chapter 3, last Sunday, Israelites crossed the Jordan River with the Ark of the Covenant representing God, who led them across the river towards the land of promise. The ark containing the Old Covenant, which requires obedience, and the ark foreshadowing Christ in our midst, in our hearts. So He's in our hearts that we can trust in His faithfulness and goodness. So now, chapter 3 tayo, chapter 4, para we can remember yung mga messages. Kasi kanina dun sa Kairos, medyo nahirapan tayo mag-remember, ano? Nga pala yung yung test nga natin, ano bang inalmusal natin kaninang umaga? Naalala ba natin? Yung ulam natin kaninang umaga? Medyo mahirap maalala, no? Memory talaga. So, para ma-remember natin, ako pala, kala ko si sorry. So, tinitle natin yung chapter 4 as Mark to Remember. Okay. So, before we start, siguro we have to read chapter 4 dun sa mga hindi pa nakakabasa at sa mga may dalang Bible. Sumunod tayo. At dun sa mga walang dalang Bible, may sinabi dyan si hindi ko na sasabihin. Si Pastor Ed Lapis, may sinabi siya dun sa mga... So ito na lang, nandito sa... si Pastor Ed Lapis. Siguro, ano pala. Dito sa map, yung para ma-remember natin, before we read the chapter 4, yung na-mention ni Brother Ed nung last Sunday, diyan dumaan yung mga Israelites from Egypt to yung mga deserts, tapos nandun sila ngayon sa circle. Nag-cross sila doon sa Jordan River, katabi ng Dead Sea, yung lower part. Yung lower part doon, yung blue. Yung close-up, nandiyan yung Dead Sea. Pumunta na sila doon. Patawid sila doon sa tapat ng Jericho. So, nung last Sunday, na-mention ni Don Carlos na tumawid na sila. Tatawid sila dyan, tumawid sila doon. So, tumawid na sila doon. Nag-camp muna sila dito sa tabi. Tapos, saka sila tumawid. So, nakatawid sila nung chapter 3. Diyan, tatawid sila doon. So, ang utos sa kanila, doon sa chapter 3 is they will camp at, pagtawid nila, they will camp at Gilgal. Tatawid sila dyan. So, para medyo may visuals tayo sa maps. So, pagtawid nila doon, yan. Yung tumawid sila doon, tatawid na sila. Nakatawid na sila. Yung Gilgal is somewhere there up. And then, on chapter 5, Jericho will be surrounded. So, dyan tayo. Nandyan tayo na dito. Saan nga ba yung laser nito? Nandyan tayo sa Israel camp somewhere before they will cross. So, pagtawid na ito. So, chapter 4 tayo, we will read. When the whole nation had finished crossing the Jordan, the Lord said to Joshua, "Choose 12 men from among the people, one from each tribe, and tell them to take up 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan, from right where the priests were standing, and carry them over with you and put them down at the place where you stay tonight." So Joshua called together the 12 men he had appointed from the Israelites, one from each tribe, and said to them, Go over before the ark of the Lord, your God, into the middle of Jordan. Each of you is to take up a stone on his shoulder, according to the number of the tribes of the Israelites. Verse 6, to serve as a sign among you in the future, when your children ask you, what do these stones mean? Tell them that the flow of the Jordan was cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord. When it crossed the Jordan, the waters of the Jordan were cut off. These stones are to be a memorial to the people of Israel forever. Verse 8. So the Israelites did as Joshua commanded them. They took 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan, according to the number of the tribes of the Israelites, as the Lord had told Joshua, and they carried them over with them to their camp, where they put them down. Verse 9, Joshua set up the 12 stones that had been in the middle of the Jordan at the spot where the priest who carried the ark of the covenant had stood, and they are there to this day. Now the priest who carried the ark, verse 10, standing in the middle of the Jordan until, verse 10, now the priest who carried the ark remained standing in the middle of the Jordan until everything the Lord had commanded Joshua was done by the people, just as Moses had directed Joshua. The people hurried over. Verse 11, as soon as all of them had crossed, the ark of the Lord and the priest came to the other side while the people watched. The men, verse 12, of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh crossed over, ready for battle in front of the Israelites, as Moses had directed them. About 40,000 armed for battle crossed over before the Lord to the plains of Jericho for war. Verse 14. That day the Lord exalted Joshua in the sight of all Israel, and they stood in awe of him all the days of his life, just as they had stood in awe of Moses. Then the Lord said to Joshua, Command the priest carrying the ark of the covenant, law to come up out of the Jordan. So Joshua commanded the priest, Come up out of the Jordan. And the priest came up out of the river, carrying the ark of the covenant of the Lord. No sooner had they set their feet on the dry ground than the waters of the Jordan returned to their place and ran at flood states as before. On the 10th day of the first month, the people went up from the Jordan and camped at Gilgal on the eastern border of Jericho. And Joshua set up at Gilgal the 12 stones they had taken out of the Jordan. He said to the Israelites, verse 21, Sorry. Sa verse 21 na tayo. He said to the Israelites, in the future, your descendants ask their parents. When your descendants ask their parents, what do these stones mean? Tell them, Israel crossed the Jordan on the dry ground. For the Lord your God dried up the Jordan before you until you had crossed over. The Lord your God did to the Jordan what he had done to the Red Sea when he dried it up before us until we had crossed over. He did this, verse 24, so that all the peoples of the earth might know that the hand of the Lord is powerful, and so that you might always fear the Lord your God. Yun yung kwento natin. Chapter 4, nag-cross na sila, nagpapili, or yun, may instruction kasi sa chapter 3, di ba? Na pumili rin, or tatawid sila, and then they will cross the Jordan River. So, himay-himayin natin yung chapter 4. We will try to look each one of the verses kung ano yung makikita natin. Tulad ng tinuro sa atin yung Pastor King. So, sino mga bida dun sa chapter 4? Mga bida, mga actors. Si Joshua, di ba? Joshua, yung 12 men na pinili, yung people of Israel, the priest, na carrying the Ark of the Covenant, representing God. Saka, ano ba? Yung mga 12 stones, bida ba yun? Bida ba sila? Bakit nga ba 12, hindi 16? Or 14? Or 10? Sige, 12. So, himay-himay natin. Tingnan natin kung anong ginawa. So, tingnan natin. Let's see what the Israelites did in chapter 4. So, tumawid na sila, di ba? Pagtawid nila dyan, sa Jordan River, yan, tumawid sila. Pagtawid nila doon sa chapter 3, pag-apak pa lang ng Ark of yung mga priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant, nag-dry up na yung river. Sabi doon sa chapter 3, nag-dry up yung river somewhere doon sa Adam. So, may Adam doon, yung nakadat doon. Doon nag-hit yung water. Kaya nung pag-cross na nila, dry na yung pag-apak ng priest sa river, nag-dry up na yung Jordan River. So, yung Jordan River kasi, during the ancient times, nung panahon nila, ngayon daw kasi hindi pa naman ako nakapunta sa Jordan River, yung mga nakapunta na doon, medyo makipot na. Siguro sabi nila mga 30 meters. Siguro from 30 meters is from here. Siguro pagtawid mo dyan sa kalye, sa mga kabilang bahay dyan. Yun na yun. Pero nung panahon daw noon, the Jordan River, kasi sabi dito, chapter 3 says, it's on a flood stage. So baha nung tumawid sila. It could run up to 500 meters yung tubig. So parang medyo malawak-lawak yung river. Sabi ng ibang archaeologists or commentaries. Kaya makikita natin na hindi lang ordinary river yung Jordan River. And the Jordan River is para siyang yung snake na ang shape niya nakagano'n. So its length niya is around 170 meters yata pag yung snake na nakagano'n. Kung straight line mo. Pero kung susukatin mo the whole length, mga more than 200 meters. So, mahaba rin. 200 kilometers. Yung straight line siya na nakaganon is 170 kilometers. Mahaba, di ba? Malayo. So, yun ang length niya. Ang lalim niya, medyo, hindi natin alam, malalim siguro. Malalim talaga. So, yun ang Jordan River at that time. So, tulad ng sinabi ni Doc Carlos last Sunday, the Jordan River was like a barrier sa kanila. So, mahirap talagang tawirin. Kailangan nilang tawirin. Or, it's sagabal sa kanilang pagbiyahe. And medyo mahaba siguro itong ano natin. As like sabi ni Don Carlos, nung bago sila tumawid, baka, or the Israelites, yung mga cross, were the chosen generations na yun eh. Diba? Bago sila tumawid, sinabi ni Lord kay Moses na yung mga 40 years or 20 years below, or 20 years above, ay hindi na makakapasok sa promised land. So ito yung mga tatawid na sila, ay yung mga chosen Israelites, so chosen generation. So tingnan natin. So let's look closely. So anong ginawa nila? Number one is si Joshua, he chose 12 men from among the people, one from each tribe, to tell them to take up 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan. So Joshua chose 12 men. Unang ginawa is they choose. Sabi natin, God always give us the freedom of choice. Yeah. So si Joshua choose 12 men from among the 12 tribes of Israel, kaya 12 stones lang. Mamili daw sila ng 12 stones from the river. They were appointed, diba? Chosen. They are not siguro kung mamimili si Joshua, they are not ordinary Israelites. They are not just ordinary men. They were chosen among the thousands of Israel. So, chosen generation. They were chosen 12. And then the 12 men choose 12 stones from the river. Siguro naman yung mamili ng stone, yung mga 12 men, they will choose yung tamang stone or the right stone. Hindi lang siguro yung stone na maliit or yung panghilod or ano, diba? Yung may lumot. Diba? Kaya, when we were given the chance to choose, we choose the best. Right? Perhaps Joshua chose the best men from each tribe, one from each tribe. And the 12 men choose the best stone kasi gagawing memorial, di ba? Kaya they will choose the best men and the best stones for God. Hindi pwede na yan. Yung mentality nating karamihan sa Pinoy na pwede na yan. Kwento pala yung kwento ni Pastor Ed Labis kasi sabi niya, mahirap daw sa atin, karamihan sa atin, yung pwede na yan na attitude. Sa church daw, lalo na sa church, minsan sinasabi natin na, oh, pwede na yan, basta nasa puso natin. Sabi niya, kung example niya. Example niya is, kunwari, CR natin. Sabi niya, lagi tayo sa church, naglilinis tayo ng mga kaluluwa natin. Pero yung CR natin, sasabihin natin, oh, pwede na yan. Yung gano'n, hindi masyadong malinis. Or, yun ang sinasabi niya. So, when we are given the choice for God, we have to give our best. Kasi hindi na pwedeng sabihin ng mga 12 men, oh, pwede na itong batong panghilod. Pwede ba yung gawin mong monumento? Hindi pwede, di ba? So, basta pinili ko to, nasa puso ko. Siguro ganun. So, we give the best for God. We Christians are also instructed by God to choose. In Deuteronomy, we were given an advice and instructed to choose life rather than death, blessing rather than cursing. Proverbs 8 says we choose instructions rather than silver. Proverbs 12 says, ano sa mga youth, we have to choose our friends carefully. Sa Isaiah, sabi niya, wala dyan, ano? Isaiah 7:15, it says, we have to reject the wrong and we have to choose the right. Or, pwede tayong we choose the other side. Sa Numbers, Yung magkaka-complain na yung mga Israelites, sabi nila, we have to choose a leader and return to Egypt. So we have the choice to return to the other side. Bumalik tayo dun sa river. Bumalik tayo. Nakakross na sila di ba? So they have also the choice na, bumalik tayo. So, ganun. But we were encouraged to choose to serve the Lord. In Joshua 24, verse 15, alam na natin yun, i-memorize natin. As for me and my household, sabi ni Joshua, we have to choose to serve the Lord. We might be, pwede kasi yung mga Israelites, when they have to cross the Jordan, they will eat the produce of the land. Doon sa pagkabila na, di ba? Mawawala na yung mga mana, yung mana, saka yung mga quail na nahuhulog. Kakain na sila ng mga produce of the land, pagtawid nila. And they will have war and have to fight the Canaanites. They have to clean out yung mga nakatira doon kasi babalik sila doon. Sabi nito Carlos, pabalik talaga sila doon sa Canaan kasi their ancestors, sina Abraham, already lived in Canaan, doon sa area na yun. So, hindi pwedeng maging attitude nila at that time is, balik na tayo sa kabila kasi magtatrabaho tayo, magbubungkal tayo ng pagkain or magkikira tayo. Balik na lang tayo. So they were chosen, they were given to choose. But we were given also the choice to choose to serve the Lord and to choose life rather than death. To choose to be on the side of the promised land. So next, they carry. Each of you is to take up a stone on his shoulder according to the number of tribes of the Israelites. And they carried them over with them to their camp. So nung nag-choose yung 12 men, they have to carry on their shoulders. So siguro, hindi lang panghilot, di ba? Talagang malalaking bato. There are big stones because they have to carry on their shoulder. On the other side, you have to carry from the center of from the middle of the river to the other side of the river. And until they will camp at Gilgal, kailangan dadalhin nila yun. So hindi ko alam kung hindi kasi sinabi kung kineri nila from dire-diretso hanggang Gilgal or tinulungan ba sila ng other Israelites. Yun. They have to carry. In Luke 14, Jesus told us also to carry our cross. Otherwise, we cannot be His disciple. And in Galatians, we were encouraged to carry our own load. But it says, we have also to carry each other's burden so that we can fulfill the law of Christ. So, the people of Israel, when they crossed the river, siguro nagtulungan din sila, di ba? Pag-cross nila dun sa river, may mga bato-bato. Kasi dried up, they crossed the Jordan River, tuyo na yung daanan nila. Walang tubig. So, they have to carry each other's load as well as help each other in crossing the Jordan. In verse 3 and verse 12, the 12 men, or in verse 3, the 12 men were instructed to carry on their shoulders, di ba? The 12 stones. But in verse 8, it says that the people of Israel did just as Joshua commanded and took up 12 stones. So, siguro, nung pagka-carry ng 12 men in the heads of the river, siguro tinulungan na sila ng mga Israelites to carry it hanggang sa Gilgal. Kasi malayo pa yun, ilang kilometro pa yun. Kasi mabigat diba? So, let's carry each other's load. And in this way, we will fulfill the law of Christ, says Galatians 6 verse 2. And the next thing they have to do, pang-second na to, diba? Pang-second. So, tingnan natin kung ilan yung ginawa nila. Pang-second is, the third is, they obey. Just as Doc Carlos last Sunday, they have to trust and obey. In verse 8, so the Israelites did as Joshua commanded them. They obeyed Joshua as their leader. They did not go near the ark. Kasi sabi ng chapter 3, they don't have to go near the ark. Yun ang command, yun ang instruction. Mauna yung ark of the covenant. They crossed and brought the stones as directed by Joshua. Kaya yung pagtawid nila, they obeyed Joshua. They obeyed the directions set by Joshua. Kaya pag tayo, sinabihan tayo ng ating pastor na tumawid tayo sa kalayaan. Punta tayo sa Maginoo, tatawid tayo. Sunod tayo. Yeah. Next thing they do is they hurried over. Now, verse 10, it says that the people hurried over. Basahin mo na natin. Now the priest who carried the ark remained standing in the middle of the Jordan until everything the Lord had commanded was done by the people, just as Moses had directed Joshua. The people hurried over. Nagmadali sila na tumawid. Bakit kaya? Bakit kailangan nilang magmadaling tumawid? During the crossing of the Red Sea, nagmamadali yung mga Israelites nung tumawid, di ba? If you can remember. Kasi hinahabol sila ng mga Egyptians. Dito, wala namang umahabol sa kanila, but they had to hurry over. Hindi sila pwedeng maglaro sa gitna ng ilog or mamulot ng mga batong-batong maganda, di ba? Parang ginawa natin sa Tanay. Mamumulot tayo ng mga bato na maganda, magagandang bato eh. Nagmamadali silang tumawid. Hindi sila nagbabad sa gitna ng river. Don Carlos mentioned last Sunday that the Jordan River was like a barrier so that the people might be worried o kaya they will be fearful. Siyempre makita nila, lawak, paano tayo tatawid? Isang hadlang sa kanila yon. In our lives, there are barriers also in our lives. It could be problems, it could be problem in our families, in our financial, and in our finances. It could be barriers and problems in our selves, in our weaknesses. So kailangan nating madaliin if we are having problems and barriers and sin in our lives. Kailangan madali tayong umalis. Hindi tayo pwedeng magbabad dun sa area. In Revelation, says, "Come out of her, my people," sabi. Is Isaiah, you flee from Babylon. We do not mix or we do not have to stay in the world just like the world. We have to flee from Babylon. Come out of Babylon. We have to flee sexual immorality. Ayun, maraming puso na, di ba? We have to flee the evil desires of our youth. Para sa mga youth. Ngayon, sa statistics, gusto nila i-declare because the Philippines is having a higher statistics on HIV HIV contamination. Mostly sa mga youth yata or sa mga marami. So, we should flee from this immorality and evil desires of our youth. When we flee yung tumatakbo, di ba? Kailangan, pag may humahabol sa'yo, you flee. Lumayo ka. So, kailangan, maglalakad ka pa ng dahan-dahan? Hindi, di ba? We have to make haste. Bilisan mo. You have to run. Kung pwede. And we should flee without looking back. Nung tumawid sila siguro, hindi na sila tumitingin sa likod. Na, mas maganda dun sa kabila ng desert. Pakain dito sa Canaan. Hindi siguro gano'n. They have to cross the river just like the Israelites crossed the Red Sea. When the Egyptians were pursuing them, when sin is pursuing you, you have to flee. Don't linger on sin. Hindi tayo pwedeng magbabad sa kasalanan or danger or barrier in our lives. We have to come out. Hindi tayo pwedeng magbabad sa worries natin. Worries are barrier din, di ba? Mga fear and worries natin in life. We have to depart quickly from worries and fear. Hindi tayo pwedeng magtampisaw. We should not let our other foot to stay on the other side of the river. Tapos yung isa nandun sa other side of the river. Hindi rin pwede, di ba? Bakit hindi pwede? Malawak kasi yung river, di ba? Nakasplit yung literally, pero figuratively, we cannot put our other feet on the other side. Hindi pwedeng, sabi nila, hindi pwedeng mamangka sa dalawang ilog. We cannot serve two masters. So, hindi pwedeng yung paa natin nasa Jordan side or the other side. Yung isa, nasa other side. Kabila. We should make haste to cross for freedom from sin. Mayroon tayong weaknesses or barrier, we have to make haste to cross. We should make haste to conquer sin and receive the promise of God. Pagtawid natin. We have to make haste. Bilisan natin pagtawid para we can receive the promise of God. In Psalm 119 verse 60, sabi doon, I will hasten and not delay to obey your commands. So, ang madaliin natin din, ang pag-obey kay God. We should not delay. Narinig niyo lagi si Brother Eli Soriano, sinasabi niya, pag nakita mo yung truth about God, huwag ka nang magpatumpik-tumpik. Ano yung magpatumpik-tumpik? Parang siguro yung do not hesitate to obey, but make haste to obey God. So number 5, they witness. As soon as all of them had crossed, the ark of the Lord and the priest came to the other side, while the people watched. So, di ba, nag-cross sila lahat? Pag-cross nila, sumunod yung priest. Di ba, ang nauna, bagong tumawid, yung Ark of the Covenant muna, di ba? They will move forward or ahead of the Israelites at least 1 kilometer, 900 meters. So, mauna yung Ark of the Covenant. Pagtawid ng Ark of the Covenant, na-dry up na yung river, tumawid sila, pumunta sila sa gitna. Sa gitna ng river, pumunta sila. Nag-stay yung Ark of the Covenant, saka tatawid yung Israelites. Pagtawid nilang lahat, saka palang aalis yung Ark of the Covenant. Siya ang huli. Di ba ganun ang nangyari? So, nung tumawid sila, 100 meter o 900 meters, so almost 1 kilometer, di ba? Malayo. Hindi sila pwedeng lumapit sa Ark of the Covenant. Yun ang utos, di ba? So siguro nung tumawid sila dito, yung mga Israelites, hindi naman sila tatawid dun sa tinawidan ng priest. Somewhere dito siguro. Diba? Medyo malayo din sila. Para hindi nila, yung dinaanan ng Ark of the Covenant, hindi sila dadaan. Kasi pag dumadin sila doon, makakalapit sila doon sa ano. Ganun ang siguro ang nangyari. So, pagtawid na, when the Ark of the Covenant was moved from the center, pagbalik nila doon, the people watched. Kahit nung unang pagtawid ng Ark, the people are watching. They witness what happened. They witnessed the Ark of the Lord and the miracle that was happened. Nakita nila yung miracle na nangyari. Kasi binantayan nila pagtawid ng Ark. Nagkaroon ng dry up ng river. In our lives, nakikita din na ba natin yung mga ginagawa ni Lord na miracles sa buhay natin? Sabi ni Pastor Joseph Ticats, seeing is also hearing. Do we have the eyes to see the miracles being done by God in our lives? We should be observant and conscious sa mga pangyayari sa buhay din natin. Makita natin yung mga ginagawa ni Lord sa buhay natin. Witness, we should be witnessing and witness to tell the truth. Witness to the truth and not a false witness. Katulad ng mga kasama ni Joshua, Caleb, nung nag-spy sila, pagbalik nila, iba yung dineclare nila. They became false witness. So let's be observant to the goodness of God. Sa pangyayari, as we prayed kanina, God is in control of our lives. Sa isang Christian, sabi nila, nothing is coincidence. Diba? Naniniwala ba tayo doon? It's always a miracle. Sabi ng ating worship leader last Sunday, remember niyo kung sino yung worship leader natin last Sunday? Baka hindi niyo narinig yung sinabi niya during his few words nung nag-end tayo. Sabi niya, remember, sabi niya, when we receive miracle, we become witnesses. Kasi nakita natin yung miracle, we witness, we give testimony to the miracles and things being done by God in our lives. Next is, they step forward. The men of Reuben, Gad, and half-tribe of Manasseh cross over, ready for battle. In front of the Israelites, as Moses had directed them, about 40,000 men, armed for battle, cross over. Nauna sila. Pagtawid ng ark, nasa gitna, nauna muna yung 40,000 men. Ahead of the Israelites. They step forward, parang sila yung advance party, kasi pagkapagtawid nila, may mga kalaban dun sa kabila. So they advance. They move in advance and they move in advance with the faith, trusting God. Kasi yun ang promise ni God sa kanila na when they cross the Jordan, God will deliver yung mga Amalekites, yung mga Kites, yung mga Shites doon sa kabila. So they trust God that they will deliver them. And with that promise, they step forward. They have no fear. Nung last Sunday, we have to trust in God. There's no fear. It is unwavering faith in Christ. Next is, they respect authority. Now the priest who carried the ark remained standing in the middle of Jordan until everything the Lord had commanded Joshua was done. So, sinunod nila. Lahat ng utos ni Joshua, sinunod nila. And after that day, in verse 14, the Lord exalted Joshua in the sight of all Israel, and they stood in awe of him all the days of his life. So, after that incident, siguro even before, God has chosen already Joshua, the Israelites stood in awe and they respected the leadership of Joshua. They respected the authority appointed by God. Same sa atin, as we read in the New Testament, that we have to submit to authorities, to give to Caesar what is due to Caesar. Next is they make a mark. They carried them, in verse 8, they carried them over yung stone with them to their camp where they put them down. Verse 19, on the 10th day, nakakross na sila, on the 10th day of the first month, the people went up from the Jordan and camped at Gilgal on the eastern border of Jericho. And Joshua set up at Gilgal the 12 stones they had taken out of the Jordan. So doon sinet up ni Joshua yung 12 stones sa Gilgal. By the way, on the 10th month, that's the 10th day of the first month, that's the time when the Passover lamb is being chosen sa mga lamb para sacrifice during Passover. Kasi ang Passover is on the 14th day of the first month. Kaya on the 10th day, yung mga Israelites normally, namimili na sila ng mga tupang, di ba, kailangan piliin mo yung unblemished, di ba, na tupa para sacrifice. So, ganoon din. Pagtawin nila, they were chosen 12 men. They were the chosen generations. They choose the 12 stones. And on the 10th day, that's the time when the lamb, Passover lamb, is being chosen. Tayo ba? Chosen generation ba tayo? Oo, di ba? Wala sumagot ah. We were, di ba? Sabi sa, we were chosen generations. So why we have to make a monument? Why they have to make, they have to set up stones. Ano sabi? So verse 6, to serve as a sign among you, sabi ni Lord. So bakit a sign? Ano ba yung monument? Bakit they have to make a sign? Senyales, yung sign, di ba? Ano ba yung sign? It's a mark, di ba? Parang mark. It's a marker. Tayo, di ba? Tumitingin tayo ng mga marker. Or a monument. Monumento ni Rizal. Mga ganon. Monument or marker. Yung marker, kilometer marker. Pag pumupunta tayo sa Tanay, kailangan alam natin yung kilometer 69 para hindi tayo mawala. Hindi tayo malampas. May mga markers na ginagawa ng mga national hero, yung mga hero, mga ganon, di ba? Or yung mga events in the country na ginagawa nilang marker. Para hindi, anong gamit na? So that, reminder, di ba? Tama. So that we can remember. Kailangan mayroon tayong sign or marker. In verse 7, says, tell them, or in verse 7, ako magbabasa, these stones are to be a memorial to the people of Israel forever. So memorial. Ano ba yung memorial? Memory. It's the act of commemorating. To remind us, to remember. It's an act of solemn remembrance. Makakalimutin kasi tayo no? Kasi ang tao makakalimutin. Yung almusal natin, hindi na natin maalala. Makakalimutin tayo. Yung ka-eros na inaral natin, medyo hindi na natin maalala. Ganun ang tao. Kaya God always tell us to remember. You remember the word? Was mentioned 140 to 160 times sa Bible. Depende sa version. So why do we need a marker? Para to remember and we will not forget what God has done in our lives. Kasi sa experience with God, the Israelites already forgotten what God has done. Doon sa Egypt, nung tumawid sila sa Red Sea. Diba? The miracle of Red Sea, they forgot. Kaya, nung nasa desert sila, panay reklamo nila. Diba? Hindi nila nakita yung hand of God during the crossing of the Red Sea. Gawa ka agad sila ng gintong baka, di ba? Kasi they forget God. Even the disciples already forget na nung nagpakain si Jesus Christ ng 5,000 with the bread and few bread and fish. 5,000 yung pinakain niya, di ba? And then another incident after that, nag-worry na sila kasi 3,000. Meron na naman taong 3,000. Nakalimutan nila na Jesus Christ nagpakain na ng 5,000. Ito, 3,000 lang, di ba? Talagang makakalimutin tayo. That's why we need a sign, a memorial, a mark. When we are reading sa mga estudyante, O tayo, even as adults, when we read a book or something, we put marks, di ba? Either we underline the words, we color it, we highlight it. Para in order that we can easily memorize the important words or sentences. Di ba ganun tayo? The same way, we need to make markers in our lives. Spiritual markers. Monuments and markers. Hindi yung hindi yung monumento ng Himala sa Ilocos Alam niyo yan? But monuments of victories in our lives. Monuments of deliverance by God in our lives. Monuments of answered prayers. Monuments of God's provision for us, for our needs. Monuments of His guidance and leading in directing our paths. Mga monuments of miracles done by God in our lives. Miracles kung paano niya pinatuyo yung river sa ating buhay. Yung baha. Monuments of victory and freedom. Yung kinanta natin kanina, through you, sabi natin kay Lord, there is victory. Diba? Yung first song, through God, there is victory. If you look around sa Pilipinas, yung mga nakarating siguro sa abroad, pero marami dito sa Pilipinas, may mga monumento or markers, diba? Marami. Yung real monuments. Pero kadalasan, marami rin ng monuments of defeat. Like yung si Ninoy, diba? May monumento si Ninoy na being handled by the guards going down the stairs. Yung Fall of Bataan, mga ganon. Yung capture ng ganito, yung mga death march, mga ganyan. Parang mahilig tayo sa monumento ng defeat. Pero God is encouraging us to set up monuments of victories and freedom. Minsan ganun tayo no? We like monuments of defeat. Monuments ng mga sama ng loob. Mga monumento ng patatas. Alam niyo ba yung patatas? Yung mamimili ka ng patatas. Alam niyo, di ba? Nakwento ko na yung patatas. O yung narinig niyo yung sabi ni Pastor Ting, yung mga bote at dyaryo na dala-dala ng taong grasa. Pinipili pa niya yun. Para dalhin niya, di ba? Eh tayo, pinipili pa natin yung anong magandang patatas na bibit-bitin natin sa buhay natin. Kahit bulok na patatas, dinadala pa natin. Alam niyo si Darna? Parang si Darna, nilunok niya yung bato. Instead na dinisplay niya yung bato, nilunok eh. Nilagay, gumawa siya ng monumento sa loob ng kanyang puso. Monumento ng mga defeat, mga sama ng loob. But it should be monuments of victories over the river. Monuments of victories over the flood. Kinanta natin, sabi natin, God is king over the flood. Remember nyo yung kinanta natin? Nakapatay yung kinanta natin kanina, nakalimutan nyo na. Diba? He is king over the flood. And to serve as a sign among you, to be a memorial to the people of Israel. Memorial is to remember, for us, to help us remember what God has done in our lives. We should make markers in our books. Story natin sa buhay. So that we can memorize and remember Kasi kahit na may marker ka, kung hindi mo naman nire-remember, useless din, di ba? So we have to remember what God has done in our lives. We should mark to remember. Mark the dates. Mark the pictures. Mga videos natin. Mark the journals. Mark your diaries and calendars. Sa mga high-tech, i-tag nyo, di ba? Sabi nyo, i-tag. I-upload mo, i-like mo. Diba? I-Twitter mo. Ha? Sa cellphone, ano ginagawa sa cellphone? Ilagay doon. I-calendar nyo. Yung mark it so that you can remember. May nagsuggest sa akin na isang marker na pwedeng gawin. Maganda to. Is to have colored pebbles for every answered prayer. Siguro, bawat maliit na pebble, colored, sulat mo doon. Diba may marker na pencil pen na nabibili, diba yung pwedeng mag-mark sa stone? You can write it down. And then you display it. Put the pebbles of every answered prayer sa isang glass jar. Where your visitors can see. Sa sala nyo. O sa dining. Para pag nakita na, oh, ang dami mong colored na ano mga yan. You can testify the goodness and the miracles God has done in your lives. So make your mark. Ano bang naisip niyong mga mark niyo sa ngayon? Kami ni na Marley, may mark na kami. Kitang-kita ng lahat. Maputi, makinis, matangkad. He is our mark that God has blessed us and put us together as one flesh, in sickness and health, in good times and bad times, one in marriage, one in love. Kaya we have to mark to remember. Meron kasing makakalimutin na nanay. Binisita nung kapapanganak lang ng baby niya eh. Siguro dahil anesthesia siya, medyo nakakalimutin siya. So maraming binisita, mga kaibigan, oh, nasaan baby mo? Nandiyan lang, sige. Tingnan namin. Matingnan namin isang kaibigan, sunod-sunod eh, kasi nabalitaan na siya. Di dumating ulit yung mga tita, mga kaibigan. Ang dami nang dumating. Patingin na mo, o sige mamaya, nandiyan lang. Tapos, hindi na makatiis yung mga dumating. Siguro mahigit 10 na. O, nasaan yung baby mo? Pakita mo na sa amin. O, inaantay ko ba? Sabi niya. Ano inaantay mo? Inaantay ko pa siya umiyak. Kasi hindi ko alam kung saan ko siya nailapag. Trivia tayo, diba? Even the Israelites, nung pagtawid nila doon, gumawa sila ng markers nila along the way. Archaeologists says that in Gilgal and other areas, patungo doon sa Jericho and doon sa Canaan, the Israelites have made markers. Kasi in Joshua chapter 1, sabi nila doon, sabi ni God doon, I will give you every place where you set your foot. Kung saan daw ma-set ng Israelites yung foot nila, ibibigay ni Lord yun. Diba? Nung araw, di ba, nung araw sa mga Spanish ay yung dito sa Pilipinas, kung saan nung nakikita ng mata mo, sa iyo yan, parang gano'n, di ba? Dito, in Joshua 1, where your foot, where you will set your foot, sa inyo lahat yan. Yan. Bilisan lang natin. Sa satellite photo, may parang ganyan. Paa or sandals na foot. Nakita doon sa somewhere near Gilgal. Alam niyo kung gaano kalaki yan? Ganyan kalaki yun. Tao yun. So, dyan daw sila. Yan, mga tao. Dyan Summer Gilgal, dyan yung plane, nagano sila doon. Siguro dyan sila nag-set ng store. So next is, we remember to tell. Bakit kailangan natin remember? In verse 6 and 7, sabi, to serve as a sign to you in the future when your children ask you what do these stones mean. Tell them that the flow of the Jordan was cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord. In verse 21, he said to the Israelites, inulit yun. In the future, when your descendants ask their parents, what do these stones mean? Tell them, Israel crossed the Jordan on the dry ground. Makapansin nyo dyan, verse 6, sabi niya, in the future, when your children, in verse 21, inulit, in the future, when your descendants, hindi na siya children. So, we tell our children and our descendants, we have to remember to tell. Meaning we should remember and able to tell miracles God has done to our children and to retell it to our children's children, to our descendants. Kaya kung madaldal tayo, ito na yung dapat natin gawin. Kwento lang ikwento sa mga anak natin at sa mga anak ng anak natin, mga apo. At tayo namang mga children tayo, at mga youth. Kayo naman makinig sa iyong mga parents. We have to respect our parents, respect authority. So that someday, pag may children na rin tayo, we can tell our children what God has done in our families, in our families. Deuteronomy 4, verse 9. Only be careful and watch yourselves closely so that you do not forget the things your eyes have seen, or let them fade from your heart as long as you live. Teach them to your children and to their children after them. Teach them to your children, talking about them when you sit at home, sa bahay ka, when you walk along the road, lalakad ka, when you lie down, patulog ka na, and when you get up. Write them on the door frames of your houses, on your gates, so that your days and the days of your children may be many in the land the Lord swore to your ancestors. Tell and teach them while sitting, while walking, while lying down, or rising up. Kahit saan. Yung hands dyan is in whatever we do. Deuteronomy 6, verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down, when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates. So kahit saan. Yung hands is whatever we do. We have to be example to our children. Between the eyes, in our foreheads, in our minds. We have to meditate and plan kung paano natin ituturo din siguro sa mga children natin. Paano natin ikukwento. Nung araw, di ba, yung mga kwento ni Lola, kwento ni Lolo, mahilig magkwento ng araw, di ba? Ngayon, nagkukwento-kwento pa ba tayo? Parang hindi na, sa harap na lang ng TV, ano? Sa harap na lang ng computer. Train up a child while he's still where he should go, and when he grow up, he will not depart from it. Sabi na. In the house, in the gates, our possessions, we have to teach them how to give thanks to God for our possessions. We have to teach them, tell them how God provided for us. and how to take good care also of our possessions. Hindi yung mag-aaksaya na lang. Because these possessions are given and provided by God. We should lay down stones of memorial for our children. So, start na tayo, makolekta ng memorial stones to tell our children and our children's children. In verse 24, he did this so that all the peoples of the earth might know that the hand of the Lord is powerful, and so that you might always fear the Lord your God. So that the people of the earth might know. So paano nila malalaman? Romans says, how can they believe if no one is sent? How can they hear if how can they believe if no one is, they have not heard? And how can they hear if no one is sent? Sabi, we have to tell our children, and then our descendants, and then to every people of the earth. We have to proclaim the goodness of God. We should participate in the proclamation of the gospel. Tell the whole world the greatness of God, His power and might. Let us support and be part of the Kairos. Mag-sign up na kayo. Mag-pray natin. So para saan yung proclamation? Sabi diyan is so that we might always fear the Lord, your God. So that we can always give glory to God, not for our own glory. Hindi sa glory ng mga senders, mga prayer warriors, mga missionaries, but for the glory of God. To fear, to honor Him, to give glory to His name. And not for the glory of the people of Israel. Not for the glory of the people of GLF, or kung sino man, GCI. But for the glory of the Almighty God. So pang 12 yun. Give glory to God. Ano bang ginawa ni Lord during the crossing of the Jordan? He lead them, di ba? Chapter 3, verse 15, nauna, as we have mentioned a while ago, nauna yung Ark of the Covenant. As the Ark reached the Jordan and their feet touched the water edge, the water from upstream stopped flowing. As mentioned by Don Carlos, the Ark of the Covenant represents God, who guided the Israelites where they should go. He lead them. Siya ang nag-lead them where they should go. Saan sila dadaan? They were ahead. They carried by the priest. The ark is ahead of them. Yung kinanta natin kanina, He made the way. You tore the veil and He made the way. You tore the veil, you made the way. Si Lord ang nagbibigay ng daan. Si Lord ang nagbibigay ng miracle, hindi tayo. It is God who directs our paths, who directs our lives, control our lives. We should surrender our lives. It is God who does the miracle. In verse 10, chapter 4, now the priest who carried the ark remained standing in the middle of the Jordan. Nagstay sila sa gitna. Nagstay yung mga priest holding the ark sa gitna. God is always in the midst of us. He is always in the midst of every problem, every danger, every barrier na tinatahak natin. God is always in the midst of us. Don Carlos mentioned that in the New Testament, Christ is in our hearts. Yung ark, yung Christ as God lives in us. He's in the midst of us. Right in the middle. And He is faithful as He promised to be with us until the end. He is also at the rear. Nasa likod. This is sa verse 18, sabi, as the priest came up, nung pagkalabas na, no sooner had they set their foot on the dry ground, then the waters of the Jordan returned to their place and ran at flood states as before. The ark of the Lord and the priest came to the other side. Pagtawid na nila, pag alis nila, bumaha agad ulit. Bumalik sa dating baha. Pag wala si Lord sa gitna ng buhay natin, babaha. Diba? Bumabaha. So remember, God has promised us that He will be leading us. He will be in our midst and He will be in our rear. Isaiah 52 verse 12, sabi niya, for the Lord will go before you. The God of Israel will be your rear guard. Nasa likod siya natin. Pinacross muna lahat ng Israelites at the other side of the Jordan, saka umalis yung Ark of the Covenant. The Lord remained in the middle of the river until all have crossed. Hindi siya umalis sa gitna. Parang captain of the ship, hindi siya tumatalon. Hindi siya nang iiwan. He guarded the rear. He protects our front. He's in the middle and He's at the rear. Exodus 14 and then 14 and 19. Sabi doon, and the angel of the God who went before the camp of Israel moved and went behind them, and the pillar of the cloud went from before and stood behind them. Pupunta sa harap, pupunta sa likod. Kung naalala natin yung nung mga bata pa tayo, nakikita niyo yung mga herdsmen na nakakabayo. Yung bata pa kami, mga ganun, yung mga bakahan, maraming baka. Nakakabayo yung leader. Isa lang na nagpapastol. Pero mga baka. So gagawin niya, siya nauna. Tapos pag medyo nawawala na yung baka, babalik siya sa likod. Gagawin niya sila ulit. Diba ganun? Sino nakakita ng mga ganun sa probinsya? Wala. Meron. Meron ka ganun, di ba? Pabalik-balik. So ganun din. God is in front of us. He's in the midst of us. Nasa likod din siya. God is always watching our back. So before we close, let's close in. Let's set up the 12 points, the 12 memorial stones we have discussed. Yan mga yun. We choose to serve God. We choose blessing. We choose the right. We choose the best for God. We carry each other's burden so that we can fulfill the law of Christ. We obey our leaders. We obey them. We hurry up to get out of worry, get out of sin, and we have to make haste to obey God. We have to watch and be witness to the miracles God is leading us. Be a witness to the truth. Be watchful and observant of God's goodness and blessings. We have to step forward and be courageous, trusting God, stepping up in faith. We have to respect authority, submit to authority. We have to make our mark, make monuments of victories and freedom, deliverance and miracles. We have to remember, and we should not forget, so that we can tell our children and retell it to our children's children. And we should proclaim and participate in God's mission, in proclaiming His greatness to all people, to all nations. To give glory to God, to fear God always, to give honor for His greatness, His might, His power, His love, and His mercy. So itong mga 12 stones na to, we can make them as monuments, we can mark them, make a mark to remember, to give God all the glory. To God be the glory and honor.